Good day, friends. My name is Mr. Reality. I'm joined with psychic medium Liz Cross, and Liz Cross is going to attempt to bring into the hot seat American jazz saxophonist John Coltrane. So sit back, relax, get ready for some smooth jazz and smooth questions from Liz.
He's here. He's playing. He's playing. He's playing it. His music here. He's standing next to me.
Wow. He brought his saxophone along, you're saying?
He did. He did. He's standing here playing in my ear. Oh my God. He is so talented.
What an artist. Thank you very much. Short lifetime again. So a 41-year lifetime. Why did you carve out such a short existence for yourself down here on the earth plane?
Because he had to make his mark and he had to leave.
Well, you did make your mark, certainly, but why did you have to leave? You could still be alive. You could be like Ray Anthony, who was in the Glenn Miller band, who's still alive at 102 years old.
You could still be. No, he doesn't want to do that. No. He doesn't want to hang around in bodies that are failing. He wants to make his mark. He wants to have, his time, and then he skips the dreary aging process.
So you played with a lot of greats during your time, Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, and it sort of catapults you into stardom. What was it like playing with those guys?
He loved it. He loved every minute of it.
What were some of the problems playing with them?
They would disagree on which key it should be played in, which notes, the tempo. Sometimes they would disagree, but overall they got along.
What does he miss about the earth plane? And has he incarnated since crossing over in 1967?
He hasn't reincarnated again. What he does miss is his family.
Can't you see your family on the other plane?
You can, but it's not the same as being able to hug and talk to people. They have the ability to hear you. You're laughing together, you're playing music together.
How do you communicate with them up there or over there or yonder there, wherever there is?
How do you communicate? Well, he sends signals and messages all the time, but it's whether or not people can hear it. He also is telling me his relationships down here were messy. His love life was extremely messy.
What drew you into jazz?
It was the only thing that made sense to him. It just connected with his soul.
Were you involved with music and other incarnations?
Ooh, I'm so glad you asked that, because he was just showing me that this is something he does in most of his incarnations, going way, way, way back to tribal lifetimes where, they're playing drums, they're playing like flutes and things like that. They're singing. He's always been a musician. He loves it.
So what drove you to jazz? Oh, we asked that. How about how many incarnations has he had up to John Coltrane? What number is that?
So human incarnations, not very many, only about 250.
Can you tell us about incarnation number 8?
Incarnation number 8 as a human?
Yeah.
Okay, because pre-human he was a tree. Incarnation number 8 as a human. He was really connecting to, again, this is very tribal. He was connecting to a lot of birds in that lifetime. He knew how to make music, and that music would attract the birds. He could communicate back and forth with the birds using his voice, using his songs, or just as a mode. It's really fascinating. I'm watching him. It's almost as if he's hypnotizing the birds using these sounds.
So he was using music as whistling even back then, around his first or 10 incarnations.
Yeah, he just loves music. Even he says, even if you're a tree, he's going back to that tree lifetime. You're still making music. Trees make music all the time with the way they sway, the wind, they rattle, they can cause the wind to howl. Everything has a rhythm.
Unfortunately, he was addicted to heroin in his life. What did heroin do for him in on the earth plane? And was that struggle built into him coming down here?
Oh yes. Yes, he had that addiction quite early on. It was hell. He's saying, if you want to know what hell is, he says hell is in some place off the earth plane. Hell is being stuck in an addiction on the earth plane. There's no other hell like it.
Did he carve out that addiction in the soul plane?
Did you carve out that addiction in the soul plane? Before he got here, he that's something he had to overcome. So it's like this brilliant, just talented musician, right? And we've heard this so many times before with the, musicians, but this brilliant musician that should have everything going for them on so many levels, and yet they have an addiction. It's like polar opposites, right? It's a form of self-hatred, self-destruction. It's a way to not allow yourself to experience the full joy and beauty of the music that you're making. When you have this addiction, you're trying to self-sabotage your joyful moments.
What could have been a lifeline that he would have listened to down on the earth plane? Or was there no escape from his addiction?
What would have been some of the masters, but I'm saying to him, I feel like some of them talk to you about it. He's like, Liz, they were all on it too. This was the era we were in,
Yeah.
heavily, heavily induced um, and influenced by heroin. If you weren't doing it, you were nobody. And it was just destroying our lives.
So there's nothing that could have helped, nothing that could have given him a hand to escape from it.
He says that he was suffering with major depression. Now,
Well,
the
wow.
depression served a big purpose in his life because music was his addiction. Music was what brought him out of the depression. But then, obviously, once he had mastered that, it wasn't enough. The depression was still there. And here comes the introduction of heroin.
What advice would you give to artists that are striving to make impact in their work in society?
To be themselves. It
Be
doesn't matter.
authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what people think. The right people will like your music, and the wrong people just won't. They'll go find that what they resonate with somewhere else. You don't worry about them. You don't try to win them over. The people that resonate to your energy, your vibration, your frequency, they will be there and they will find you.
Does he think that an original style is something that someone possesses, or can it be cultivated through exploration?
Ooh, do you think original style is something that, yes, but you have to find yourself first.
Who were his main inspirations growing up?
Who were your main inspirations growing up? He showed me a very strong female figure. And I'm like, was she a musician? And I do believe she was. He really is showing me this really strong female figure, singer.
Would you consider John Coltrane as the most recognized artist in your past? Or did you also attain notoriety in other lifetimes?
So let me just give this to you because he keeps saying Ella. I think that's possibly the lady he's talking about. I'm sorry, what was that question?
Was John Coltrane the most famous incarnation, or did you achieve any type of music notoriety in other lifetimes?
Was this your favorite lifetime? This wasn't his favorite lifetime. Was this your most famous lifetime? Yes, it was his most famous lifetime, but it wasn't his favorite lifetime.
What was
He
your
actually
favorite?
he he actually had a lifetime of going back. He really enjoyed these tribal lifetimes where he was free to express himself uh alone and make music by himself, not having to impress anyone, not having to play for anyone. And even though he liked to play for the audience, when you are famous, he says, the audience controls your agenda. You no longer control your agenda. So your creative side tends to cater to the audience, and you're sort of hiding your own self.
Let's look ahead 2 lifetimes, not his next one, but the one after that. What is he planning for that lifetime?
He will be female and he will be a singer and a dancer.
How many lifetimes does he feel like he needs to have until he doesn't have to have them anymore?
3,000.
And what year will that be done?
Oh gosh. What year will that be done? This is going into like 10,000 something.
Wow. Well, John Coltrane, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and giving Liz a nice serenade while you joined us. How is one last question I had? How is entertainment over there?
Oh, how is entertainment over there? He says it's so so. You have to create your own entertainment, but there's no. I'm like, do you hear any sounds over there? No, no, you don't hear anything. So this ability to have music and be here on the earth plane and listening to a whole range of instruments and sounds and music and connecting to it emotionally, that is a privilege, he says, and he's really passionate when he talks about that.
Has he been to any good concerts over there lately?
Sometimes, yeah, they do plays. And I'm saying, does anyone sing? Not really, but it's kind of an all-knowing, right? You can just read each other's emotions. Are people very emotional on the other side? No, not really. There's no need.
Has he chilled with Dizzy Gillespie in a while?
Have you met? Yes, yes. Dizzy Gillespie? Yes, absolutely.
Ella?
What about Ella? Do you know who Ella is?
Ella Fitzgerald? Yes.
Ah, that's who he's talking about. Okay. Gosh. She's one of my closest friends.
Do you guys sing or do you have concerts? Do people seek you out and ask you to resonate your vibes at them? How does that work? Or are you unknown over there?
It's irrelevant. What we did on the earth plane in this lifetime was is irrelevant. But we do you actually reminisce about the good times like when you were here? They do. And they sort of all want to meet up again on the next lifetime as well. So whatever it is they're planning, they'll all end up together again making music. That's quite amazing. I have to ask this question. What else can be done to make someone just a better musician? Or maybe there's a really good musician, but they're just not being heard. how do people do it? Because the concept of producing your own music has changed now, and publishing it has changed. And you have to go with the flow. You have to go with what works. Now, I don't know about you, Mr. Reality, but a lot of people put their stuff on TikTok. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that there's talk of a TikTok ban.
I don't know. I don't follow things like that.
Well, yeah, but so let's ask this question. What will happen if they do ban TikTok here in the USA? What will that do to all those musicians, singers, dancers that, they'll be finished? TikTok actually provides, as much as I don't watch it, TikTok actually provides an outlet for creativity to get out there, in a very short space of time, and you either immediately like or dislike. So TikTok allows you to form a love-hate relationship with the artist.
Ah,
And yeah, so will TikTok be banned in the US? No, it's impossible to ban it. He says no.
if he just took his saxophone and went to the hall of the Akashic Records or the Book of Records, the library, whatever you want to call it over there, and just started playing with like, his case open, what would happen?
If you took your saxophone do you have a saxophone up there? No, he has an etheric saxophone. If you took your etheric saxophone to the Hall of Records, the Akashic Records over there, and you started playing, what would happen? He says, man, you're so funny. He thinks
Give it a
that's a
shot. Let
funny
us know.
question. Yeah,
I want
really.
to
Will
see
you
what
come
people
back
flip into the
again?
case since there's no money.
Will you come back again and let us know how that works out? He thinks you're hilarious, actually. He has this really like roaring laugh. I mean, it's just loud and roaring. It's just so infectious. So I appreciate that question.
John Coltrane, thanks so much for joining us.
Awesome.